The joke will always be on men when it comes to the conversation about body count. They make such a big deal about it. It's such a requirement that your body count is low and you're not ran through and blah, blah, blah. But the reason why the joke is always going to be on y'all is because you are never going to know a woman's real answer. You're never going to know. And the funniest thing about that is men are so oblivious to women and the ways of women that they really think they can look at a woman and tell if her body count is high or if it's low. A lot of men will marry a woman thinking she's good, not understanding how much she used to, what they say, bust it wide open and lay it wide back in her day. But because she carries herself as a classy woman and has been for the last 10, 15, 20 years, you think she's a good girl. I can assure you that the women who you think are good girls aren't.
They're acting like we don't know. Listen. For everybody that's not aware, let me help you to understand something. The body count question is relevant to online discussions because that's when we then have our conversations and debates as to why what happened in your past matters for where you're going in your future. But if you meeting people in real life, you don't think that we know you for the streets? The only reason why a lot of those women wind up getting married is because they found a simp. It's a reason why the Bible specifically and the standard of marriage has always been, and this is why I say marriage is more for young people that don't have anything or for people that's looking to protect assets. The standard has always been that you need to have a woman that is younger and inexperienced and is a virgin because that is the way that you know that they are not for the streets. But all of these women that continue to trauma bond and have relationships with men and then carry them into future relationships, we know who you are. We know that you used to bust it up. Look, this is one of the reasons, again, fellas, why I tell people to get off of these dating apps or not to use the applications or Instagram or Bumble or Tinder or whatever it is that you can find, christianmingle.com, I'm for farmers, whatever it is that you're going for. We tell you to get off of these apps because what you craft yourself to be online is much different than what you're going to deal with and what you're going to meet in the first place, right? And so when you meet people in real life, you can tend to get a sentiment of who they are. It don't matter how much makeup they put on. It don't matter how prissy they act. If you sit there long enough, you'll realize that, hey, that one is a wife and that one is for the streets. The problem is that people have forgotten how to because maybe they didn't have fathers in their life and they were raised by their mothers. But the problem is that everybody is slotting everybody into the same thing. And y'all think that just because we are men and we don't know that you didn't bust it down for 100, 50 is the same thing as 100. You see what I'm saying? 25 is the same thing as 100. If you went through 50 guys or you went through 30 guys and you could not find a dude that ultimately was supposed to be your husband, in my opinion, you for the streets. Now, we may treat you okay just because you may be a nice person, but don't think for 1 second that the dudes that know is not slotting you accordingly. It don't matter if you got 50 or 250. You are for the streets. And so the body count conversation, the number is relevant for the online discussions. But when it comes to what we see in real life, and this is one of the reasons why you want to organically meet people in real life, and then the application is a supplemental for how it is that you can stay in contact with them. But when you meet people in real life, if you know who for the streets and who not. We're not disillusioned, but let me let her cook.
And they never were. They may have changed or something, but they're not the innocent, pure woman or women that you think. And the women who you think are the most promiscuous because she wears booty shorts or she's always twerking or whatever, those be the women a lot of times that men cannot get.
We all know that all of y'all for the streets.
Can use myself
all
as
of
an
them
example.
Is for the streets.
I will hop on a plane, go to Miami, put on some fishnet stockings, some booty shorts, and just be twerking all up and down the Miami Strip. And when men see me, they think, oh, she's probably easy. Look at how she's acting.
It's not about easy. Listen, you can hold out. You could, just because you're saying that you got booty shorts on and you in Miami and you twerking, but you're not probably going to give men the time of day or give your number out and all of that. That means nothing as far as whether or not most men will determine you for the streets or not. And it's not about how fast we can get it. It's about whether or not you still fit the profile of a woman that we know is not representative of a man that is looking for a wife. Listen. The wife profile is based off of, are you an extension of me? Are you an extension of what I represent? I cannot, or most men that I know cannot be with a woman that ultimately has fishnet stockings on and is twerking up and down on Miami Beach or in the streets. You see what I'm saying? Especially in 2024 where it's the camera for everything. You know why? Because we got to go to the boardroom. And you have to be an extension of us. You will never, in a million years, ever find my wife. You don't even see my wife getting out of order online, let alone in real life. That's crazy to us. But they will sit there and tell you, oh man, just because I didn't give any man my number, then that means that I'm not for the streets. Your representation is that of street behavior. It's not just if you gave some men your number while you was in Miami twerking. It's whether or not you are a representation of what a wife is supposed to be.
0 men get my phone number. 0 men even.
And I don't even believe that either.
Most of the time I tell them I'm gay or I'm married or I'm terrified of men. Whatever I feel like saying in that moment, depending on the guys, you'll never get me. Imagine thinking I'm a whore, but you can't even get this whore. This whore won't even give you eye contact, right? The joke is always going to be on y'all, right? Women know how to twerk, dance, drink, be yelling, hey, at the club and be doing all of that all day. And no man can get her. None.
Right.
Like literally none. Good luck. Right? So y'all really don't know. And you'll never really know. Right?
Right.
Y'all will put so many emphasis on, oh, her body count has to be low. And it's like, you're never going to, I can't say this enough.
We know.
You're never going to know. Unless she decides to tell you the truth.
We know.
Right? Steve Harvey.
Just because you lie don't mean that we don't know. And she's about to reference Steve Harvey. Oh, I got to hear this.
Said, no matter what, your number is never over 3. Anything over 3, no matter what age you are.
Shout out to Simp Harvey. Y'all genuinely believe Simp Harvey and you think that that make a difference. I just interviewed a woman that said that she got HIV. She contracted HIV. And then the thing that pushed her out the door was chlamydia. And then it was still a man that came up after she was honest about her status that came up and married her. And you think that it's the fact that y'all lied that's putting y'all in a certain category to where you can't find a man. Jesus. Steve Harvey said, whenever I hear a woman quote Steve Harvey, I already know where we're going with this, y'all.
No matter how many times you've been married, no matter how many baby daddies you got, 3. Okay? That's your answer, right? And I'm not saying I've ever said 3, but I'm just saying, even a man said to not tell men the true number.
A man that it's not about Steve Harvey. We're going to continue.
Because men can't handle it. There are men out there who can't handle the fact that you had a past before that they even met you. They're mad that they didn't meet you 10 years ago because you had a baby daddy or you were married or something. Like, y'all can't take these men seriously. And
sounds like
so I think guys need to humble themselves and y'all need to get over y'all insecurities and grow the fuck up.
Hey, we need to get over our insecurities because they got a high body count. We need to get over our insecurities. See, when they decide that they don't want to deal with somebody, it's called standards because they deserve better than that. They're evaluating who they are and where they're looking to go, and they're creating standards. And so it's a certain type of guy that they don't want to deal with. It's a certain amount of money that he has to make. It's a certain kind of quality that he has to carry within himself. But if a guy decides that he don't want to be with a woman that had already busted down for free for a bunch of dudes that she's now raising her standards to be with, all of a sudden that becomes, we need to get over ourselves. Got it. Got it. I hear you, baby.
A woman is never going to tell you her actual number.
Right.
And the women who actually do have a low number, like that's 1 or 2 or 3 men in her whole life or whatever. Those are women you most likely, if you care about body count, you're not going to get women like that anyways. They're not going to be paying you any attention. Chances are they're probably still married to the same person from high school for the last 30 years anyways. So
the pool is basically trash is what she's saying.
You're not going to get those women. You can forget it, right? The pure women that y'all want are children, basically.
Which basically speaks to my point. If they're above a certain age and they live a certain lifestyle, then you can guarantee 100% of the time, just automatically assume that she for the streets. I'm curious as to what you guys think. Make sure you tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. I will be in Houston next week, so that's going to be absolutely awesome. And then in addition to that, make sure that you guys get Tej Henley, 40% off your first order plus 20% off for life. Tej is in the building. Thank you, Tej, for continuing to hold us down. That link is in the description. Ladies, get it for the fellas. Fellas, don't wait for the ladies to get it for you. And then last but not least, protect yourself. Protect yourself, fellas. I want to know what y'all think inside of the comments. After hours is tonight. I love you. I appreciate you. I'm going to holler at you later. Peace.